I bought my first motorbike from a place in Congleton called Paddock Motorcycles. It wasn't just a shop, it was where I sat on my first set of motorcycles and various bikes that I couldn't afford yet, and where I asked loads of daft silly questions to the salesman, and where I felt like maybe I could probably just about stretch myself to buy my first motorbike. Now, unfortunately, that dealership is now gone. They shut down, they closed, and whoever owned it has moved on. And the thing is, this isn't just a one-off. It wasn't just bad luck that that particular business shut down. It's part of a massive pattern happening all across the UK. Because whilst Paddock Motorcycles disappeared quietly without any headlines, across the UK, dealerships have been dropping like flies. We're talking over 15 closures just in the second half of 2024 alone. And they weren't just small independent dealers. These were big names as well. Completely Motorbikes, for example, went under and it took 21 showrooms with it. Saltier Motorcycles in Edinburgh, gone. The Paddock Group, gone. Marshall Holdings in Exeter, who had over 22 years in the business, they really knew what they were doing. They're gone. And then Street Bikes, Groombridge, even Harley Davidson dealerships went with 5 closures in 2024 alone. And then before that, they did 3 more the year before. This isn't just a local issue. This is a national issue, and it sometimes feels like it's accelerated. Now, looking at the industry's own data, the UK motorcycle market closed 2025 at 93,922 units. That is a 19.3% drop since 2024, nearly 20% less. The first half of 2025 yielded the lowest sales in some 20 years. January alone was down 30% year on year. And these figures are all from the Motorcycle Industry Association and the National Motorcycle Dealership Association, the people who run and look after the industry. And they're not exactly optimistic about the future either. The NMDA head, Simon Cook, called it a perfect storm of challenges, including rising expenses, overstocking, and a market downturn. The MCIA CEO, Tony Campbell, has said 2024 has been an incredibly challenging year for the sector. And Viamoto boss Matthew Gilbert put it even more bluntly. The motorcycle buying public is declining, and there simply isn't enough people coming in because the costs involved are just so ridiculous. If the heads of these organisations are being this frank about the industry and its health, then it's pretty clear that there's a problem. Now, some of you that have watched my previous videos or have got their ear to the ground when it comes to the motorbike industry are probably saying, well, hold on a moment, Jack. You told us that low capacity small cc bikes were actually on the rise not too long ago. And you would be correct. You'd also think that more affordable bikes being sold meant more new riders coming into the industry. And that should be a good thing, right? And in one sense, it is. Smaller bikes, such as those that fit into the 125 to 500cc class, are up 20.4%. More people are entering through cheaper, more accessible bikes. And that's exactly what everyone says they want, isn't it? But bigger bikes, the 750 to 1000cc's, are down some 8.7%, nearly 10%. And that matters a lot more than it sounds because dealers don't make their money on cheap bikes. I spent many years working across the motor trade, and I can tell you that they make it by selling the premium stuff, the premium bikes, the high-end bikes. They do that through finance packages, selling multiple accessories and add-ons that get you all excited, and that's where they make their money. A £4,000 bike doesn't carry the same profit as a £12,000 one. And it's not as simple as selling £3,000-4,000 bikes to make up that 12 grand. It just doesn't stack that way, unfortunately. And that's where the additional complexity comes into having to switch to a volume sales strategy versus a premium sales strategy. If your showroom's now full of low margin bikes because, well, that's what the people want and that's what people are buying, well, you still have the high overheads of staff to pay. You've got the buildings to still run, you've got the workshops to maintain, and crucially, you have way more stock on finance and in storage than is ultimately viable. So that's when the maths at this point stops kind of working out. The industry is finally selling the kind of bike that new riders have been crying out for and the bikes that they can actually afford, but the entire dealership model was built around selling the expensive ones. The market has shifted significantly, but the business model hasn't had a chance to catch up with it. Now the infrastructure around it all is collapsing underneath it. I'm curious what it's like where you guys are. Has your local dealership closed? How far do you now have to go just to get your bike serviced and looked at? Or even if you're interested in buying a new bike, how far are you traveling just to sit on a bike before you buy it? For me, the collapse of Completely Motorcycles took out a couple of really decent dealerships within my local area, and it's left me having to travel a little bit further to get my servicing work done. Drop your thoughts on all this in the comment section below and how the closure of main dealerships has been impacting you directly. I'm interested to know because, well, this isn't just a business problem, it's fast becoming our problem. Because ultimately, if we don't have these local dealerships, it means there's no local servicing, there's no easy warranty support, there's no recall handling nearby, there's less trading options for competitive prices, and most importantly, there's no places to actually experience bikes firsthand. If you can't sit on them, you can't feel them, and you can't compare between different models and different bikes. And if you're a new rider, well, that's quite frankly a massive decision maker, because getting into motorcycling is already hard enough. Now imagine trying to do it without even physically being able to interact with the bikes that you're interested in. And on top of that, there's the culture side of all this as well. So the MCN London Motorcycle Show closed down in 2025. After more than 15 years at the ExCeL in London, it was cancelled because of rising costs and declining attendance figures, and it's not coming back in 2026. That basically leaves us with one major show left here in the UK, and that's Motorcycle Live at the NEC. There are a couple of outliers. There's the Bike Shed Moto down in London as well. There's a show down there and stuff, but the main one is Motorcycle Live at the NEC. And that just shows that the market is shrinking and the industry isn't coming to riders anymore. It's expecting riders to come to it at exactly a moment that, well, it should be doing the exact opposite. And this is exactly why I've been taking security a lot more seriously lately. Because the reality is, if your bike gets stolen now, replacing it, dealing with the insurance, and even having to get back on the road is harder than it should be. The support system around riding is shrinking, so protecting your bike that you've already got matters more than ever. And that's why I trust these guys from LITELOK, specifically using this particular lock, the LITELOK X1. Thanks to its baronium core, which is designed to resist angle grind attacks, not just slow it down a bit, it actually resists them, and thanks to its anti-twist shackle, it's one of the best locks in the business. I'm not just saying that, I actually own this one. I use it all the time. If I'm leaving my bike absolutely anywhere, at home or out and about, this is the lock that I trust the absolute most on my bike. Because right now, the safest bike you'll have is the one that never gets taken in the first place. There are loads of videos out there of people attacking these with angle grinders. I've said it before, you'll find those videos all over YouTube. Go and watch them, see how this thing fares, and you'll be just as surprised as I was just at how good this lock is, especially at its price point. There's an unboxing video on my channel. You can see it at the pop-out banner at the top of the screen. There'll be a link in the description below as well if you want to go check them out. And if you wanted to buy one of these from that link below, it will not cost you a penny more, but it does help my channel and helps me keep making these free-to-view videos. But with that said, it's not all bad news. Online buying is growing, and for some people, that's absolutely fine. That works. But some independent dealers are adapting as well. They're having a much leaner setup. Different models being lined up in the bike dealerships. Take Bill Smith's Motorcycles, for instance, where I live here in Chester. They took over the local Triumph dealership after Completely Motorcycles went under. They then invested heavily in a new site across town and consolidated everything, bringing all of their brands to one location instead of having 3 separate dealerships across the city. And it seems to have worked. They've reduced their overheads, they've given us as customers much more choice, and they've got more of a chance of surviving in a very difficult market. And talking of the different markets, there's also the used market, which is still strong, arguably stronger than ever. But here's the problem. None of that replaces what we're losing, because a healthy dealership network isn't just about transactions. It's about discovery and community, trust and onboarding new riders. And you can't fully replace that through a website or from having one consolidated dealership, which is covering an entire region. I keep thinking back to the first day at Paddock Motorcycles, walking in and not really knowing what I was doing there or what I was looking for. I'm walking out feeling like I'd just stepped into something much bigger and that opened the door to me into an industry that I was excited to try and become part of. That place doesn't exist anymore, and fewer places like it do. And that is a frustrating part. The industry keeps talking about getting new people into motorcycling, whilst quietly letting the exact places that make that possible disappear. Because if new riders don't have somewhere to start, somewhere to go and experience bikes for themselves, at some point they just won't start at all. Now, if you want to take a look at the bigger picture of where this is all heading, you might be interested in watching this older video of mine just up here, where I take a look at the industry and question whether it's actually dying or not. Because this might be the clearest warning sign that we've got yet of the health of the wider industry. And if you're new here, or you've not done so already and you're one of my returning viewers, then please click on my face just down here, click on that, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon, because I put videos out each and every week where I talk about the industry and topics such as this. Now please ride safe, and hopefully I get to see you all again next week. Thank you.